Hi, it's Carmen Bryant, and thanks so much for having me. I know you're at home and I can't be with you, and I'm really sad about that, but I'm excited and thank you for having me. Today, I'm going to talk about nonprofit board service, which is one thing in my life that I love. And I wanted to start by telling you a little bit about myself. I grew up in Midland, so philanthropy has been very much a part of my life. Went to Hellender, went to Midland High, and then went to the University of Arkansas. Came home to Midland about 20 years ago and got very involved in the nonprofit sector. It's a wonderful, wonderful world to be in. And so I'm so glad that you're taking time to learn more about it. And the first thing that I'm going to talk to you about is how you serve on a board, how you even get asked, how does that even happen? So one thing that you can do is go and volunteer for organizations that you love, because good volunteers make good board members. So your passion will show through, your knowledge of a particular subject, if you're studying law, or you're a great fundraiser, or an accountant. All of those things are always needed on boards. We're always looking for people, good, smart people to steer organizations. So that's my number one bit of advice is, if you are interested in serving on a board, go and volunteer for the organization. Get to know them, let them get to know you. There are also great training programs out there. Junior League, Leadership Midland, Leadership whatever city you're in. The chamber should have a leadership program. Also online volunteering and is becoming such a thing. 123 Volunteer. I know lots of other websites that can connect you, with volunteer passions. So online, Nonprofit Management Center website here locally is a great resource also. And then another way that you're going to learn about board service is through your friends and your colleagues. And you should never serve on a board just because your friend is, but it's certainly nice to have a peer that you can work things out, talk things through with. So your friends will start to ask you, most likely, to serve on boards. Another thing about nonprofit service is that transparency is key. And so before you agree to serve on a nonprofit board, you're going to want to ask them a few questions. One thing that's the most important, I would say, is ask for their current financials, ask for their budget, ask for their profit and loss for the month and the year. Also their 990, which is basically like a tax return for nonprofits. You can also go to guidestar.org and you can look up their past 990s. It'll give you a lot of information. Ask what the board member expectations are. Is there an annual fee? How many meetings are there a year? Where are the meetings? Term limits. Do I serve the rest of my life? Do I serve 2 years? What does that look like? And then the other bit of advice would be ask some questions such as, how long has your executive director been there? Are y'all starting to do a capital campaign? There's been so much growth in Midland that we've seen a lot of capital campaigns. And so that's another question that you want to ask. Then I'm going to go over real quickly the 10 board responsibilities, basic board responsibilities. So when you do serve on a board, you have 10 responsibilities. These are boiled down. Number one is to determine the mission, and the mission really sets the sight and the goal and the vision for the organization. So you're going to determine that, and that's usually done during your strategic planning process. You're also going to select the chief executive officer or the executive director, and some executive directors, it's just like any other job. Some executive directors have been there 20 years, some have been there 2 months. So but if that position is to change, that is the board's role, is to select the executive director and also to support and evaluate. So an annual evaluation of your executive director, any kind of advice that you can give your executive director, just support them for sure. Ensure effective planning and monitor goals. So program planning, fundraising planning. Are we reaching as many clients as we wanted to? Are we bringing in as much money as we need to? All those kinds of things. Monitor and strengthen programs and services. So I just touched on that. Are we seeing as many people as we need to? Are we really truly feeding the hungry as many people as we need to? Are we getting services to those in need? That's a really important thing. Number 6 is to ensure adequate financial resources, which I touched on earlier, through fundraising, maybe through personal contributions. You always want to give a personal contribution because if you don't give to the organization and you're on the board, who else will? So just ensure those financial resources, protect assets, and provide financial oversight. How you do that is you look at the budget, you look at the monthly financials, you hopefully can have some kind of endowment or investments to look at. That's fantastic. Build the board. That's another one. And that goes right back to what we were talking about in the beginning, building the board, getting your colleagues into help and to share your passion of the organization. It's always a good thing. Ensure legal and ethical integrity. You want to be transparent. You want to be above board on everything. The public owns the nonprofit. So that is a huge responsibility in and of itself. And also the last one is to enhance public standing. So basically, whenever you have, without being obnoxious, whenever you have a chance to talk about your nonprofit or charity in public, it's a great thing. Do that. Let people know what's going on. Let people know how they can help, how they can get involved. And then finally, the 3 legal responsibilities of board service. One is duty of care. And I'm going to kind of read this to you here. So duty of care describes the level of competence that is expected of board members and is commonly expressed as duty of care that an ordinary prudent person would exercise in a like position and under similar circumstances. So basically, being of sound mind, exercise responsibility of care. The second is duty of loyalty. The duty of loyalty is a standard of faithfulness. A board member must give undivided allegiance when making decisions. So it is it's always, always, always not what your personal interest is, but what is in the best interest of the organization. Always, always, always. And then finally, the third legal responsibility, the duty of obedience, requires board members to be faithful to the organization's mission. And that is really a huge one because we talk about it all the time. Well, is it mission driven? Is it mission focused? Is the program speaking directly to the mission? So that is another huge one. A basis for this rule lies in the public's trust of the organization. So as a board member, you're the top, and you have to be sure that the organization trusts you. That's a lot of responsibility, but it's so much fun, and you meet the best people. And I just wish you the best of luck on your journey. And I know Kobe has my information. If you ever want or need anything, please reach out. Talk to you soon.